But a beginning, any dream will do. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Capistrano Valley. We begin our service by lighting the flames of faith. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence that we call Spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. We light the candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of compliance with the will of God as the highest calling. We light the candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. And as Reverend Judy Chapman lights the last candle, let it represent the path that brought you here this morning.
Good morning. I invite you to go within for affirmative prayer. We join together in consciousness to remember and to be reminded that there truly is only one life. And this life is God, this life is good. This life is magnificent, it is lavish abundance, it is infinite intelligence, and it is unconditional love. All these qualities of God live and move and express through each one of us. For we are the expression of the divine. We are the beloved, and we are an excellent idea in the mind of spirit. So today we affirm that love leads the way. And our thoughts, our actions, our hands, our voice express love in this universe to all of creation. I know that this service opens your heart, opens our minds, opens up our consciousness to a higher knowledge, higher intelligence, so that we glean the wisdom from Dr. Heather's talk this morning. I know that we express that love that was taught to us by the master teacher, Jesus. And we express it with such love, such joy, and such conviction. So knowing I speak the truth, and this truth does set us free, I place these words into divine mind where they've already been created, and I fill my heart with so much gratitude and thanksgiving for this time together, for this center, and for this teaching. And so I anchor this prayer in love, in confidence, and in joy as we let it go and we say together, and so it is. And now our declaration of principle. I believe in God, the one creative intelligence, operating through the universe and operating throughout my entire being, now and always. I believe this perfect spirit operates upon a law of mind and creates my experience exactly according to my belief. I believe this perfect creative intelligence can be used by me and by every other person to produce health, abundance, and love in mind, body, and total life experience. I use it now, and I rejoice in it, and so it is. And today's affirmation: every part of me is an expression of pure spirit. I speak out, for my voice is love's voice. I put my attention on good, and I praise it. Love guides my hands in divine right action, and so it is.
Thank you, Reverend Judy. We're going right into our meditation, so Diane's going to set us up with her music.
We are a light in this world.
yourself. Personalize it again. I am a light in this world. Let the idea resonate within you. I am a light in this world. God's holy name is I am. I am. Choose one of the qualities of God. If you want light, just let that word, light, wisdom, awareness, float in your mind. And as you are letting that word float in your mind gently, let your body relax. Let your breath become a rhythm that's comfortable for you. Breathing in or breathing out. I am. And if you would prefer another quality of God like love or truth or joy, take that word and let it float in your mind. We have a short meditation. At the end of the meditation, you'll hear 3 rings of the bell, which will bring us back to the present moment. But for now, I am that I am. So bringing yourself gently back into this present moment. Let your shoulders drop again. Be here now. And Wade Wooldridge is our guest vocalist.
Good morning. You say you're down and out and need some help to get you through each day. Well, here's a thought or two I've used and like to pass them on your way. I found them lying there, the answers that you say you're looking for. Make what you will of them, and you can change the way it was before. You got to make it by yourself. You know you got to make it by yourself. I'll be your friend and I'll lend a helping hand. But you got to try to help yourself before I can. I hear you talk of all the happiness and emptiness you've known. Well, let me reassure you, never were you really all alone. They say in quiet desperation, many people cannot see. They cannot see the simple truth, that's not the way it has to be. You got to find it for yourself. God helps the man who helps himself, amen. I am your friend and I'll lend a helping hand. But you got to try to help yourself before I can. We got to help each other. You got to help your brother when you can. When you can. Now don't you think that I'm just preaching, I'm reaching out to you. 'Cause that's the only way that I know how to get the message through. Then you in turn have got to learn and teach it to somebody who's felt the happiness, the emptiness, the same as you. You got to make it by yourself. You know you got to make it by yourself. I am your friend and I'll lend a helping hand. But you got to try to help yourself before I can.
Wow. Thank you, Wade. Our musicians choose the very best possible music. That was perfect for this morning's message. This has been a whole month of listen to your heart, and today's message is these hands, and it's that very thing. God can only work for you by working through you. So for you to have a better life, you have to be in alignment with the truth of your being, which is the truth of God, the truth of good, and good alone. I was thinking about that this morning. I believe it's Tale of Two Cities begins, it was the worst of times and the best of times. That's how I feel about yesterday. Yesterday was the worst of times and the best of times. That space launch, and do you know Reverend Karen Allen's brother was one of the main scientists on that launch? It's like, oh, I have a celebrity right here. And what an amazing thing, after 10 years of no space launches from American soil, have that one perfect. And it's going to land back. So no more splashing in the ocean, I guess. And so let's us Americans take that as ours. That was our achievement. It definitely was SpaceX and NASA's achievement. But because we're one with all, we are one with the great good that surrounds us. I don't probably need to talk about the worst of times, but I'm going to. When I saw George Floyd, the coverage of him being murdered in front of by a police officer, I was brokenhearted, as I know most Americans, regardless of their color, have been. I was brokenhearted. How could this happen? And when I saw the picture of the 3 other officers right there, not stopping him, I was outraged and even more brokenhearted. And I tried to bring as much compassion, because what I know is there are so many good police officers. There are so many that risk their lives every day for us, for the citizens, regardless of color, regardless of race, regardless of religion. There are so many. So I was really pleased that there were going to be protests. And I was pleased that the mayors of the various cities were saying, social distance, speak out. This is your American right, your First Amendment right to speak out on what is bothering, what is wrong. Speak out. And for the first part of the demonstrations, they were peaceful. They were angry. They were sad. Their hearts were broken. And then when it turned to looting, every range of emotion went through me, and I'm sure the same happened for you. If you watched, and I know some of you have turned off your televisions, you're not watching any news, so you may not have even heard of it, and that's a good thing. Except that those looters, that Los Angeles was just this weekend opened. Downtown was just opened. And to see those looters, to see them go after all the merchandise of in the high-end stores, that didn't surprise me. But what broke my heart was to see them go after the small businesses who have been off business for 3 months or 2 months, have been doing their best to stay and fill their stores with merchandise. Those mom and pop businesses, those small businesses, are not the establishment. They are not to blame. And so what I know in my heart of hearts, those looters were not in their right minds. I guess really they were mentally ill, but what I'm saying is they did not know who they were. They did not know that by doing something to others, they're really hurting themselves. I spoke about, many months ago, I read a book called Barking at the Choir, and it's by Greg Boyle, a pastor in LA, a Catholic priest, Jesuit. And so the Jesuits do not own things. They don't have any money. But this man has a golden heart because his whole mission is to work with the disenfranchised, with the homeless, the helpless, those that have been in jail or on their way to jail, the criminals, the drug addicts. And because he is committed to seeing God in each one of them, he doesn't see the viciousness. He doesn't see, and in fact, what he brings out, what he calls forth by his own presence, he brings out the good. He brings out that thing that wants to sing the truth, the peace, the love. He brings that out. So every once in a while, I watch way too much TV last night. Every once in a while, I think, some of these kids work with Greg Boyle. They're going to awaken and they're going to go, oh, that isn't who I am. These actions aren't who I am. This anger, this rage is justified, but my use of destroying property for it is not an expression that I stand behind. It's an expression of chaos. And truly, I can be compassionate. I can really be compassionate for those who've been marginalized. My friend David Alexander married an African woman from Africa. She's beautiful. Her name is Patience. And he tells the story that between his divorce and meeting Patience, he was treating daily to find the right woman. And nothing was happening. And his friends would say, have patience, David, just have patience. The right woman is going to show up. And then when she did, he knew immediately she was so beautiful, so kind, so exactly the right match for David. And what is her name? Patience. Patience. An African woman, very dark, and she had, when she met David, a young son who was, I think, he was maybe 5 or 6 then. He's now a very large teenager, and he is very dark. And he's very tall. He's almost like he's David's natural son, because David is very tall. This boy is very tall and looks far older than his age. And now he lives in Atlanta. Now they live in Atlanta. And I've been thinking of David with these riots that are all over the United States. And wondering if his sons, because his young son, his I guess he'd be 3 or 4 now, how are they? How is this family doing? David would have been part of the protesting. Would he have gone and kept his boys safe? It's such a sad thing for me. And then I remember, consciousness precedes form. Consciousness precedes form. That's a statement of principle. First, we think something. First, we come to believe something. And then that something manifests. Coincidentally, which we know we don't believe in, coincidentally, I had a meeting this week. Yes, one was with my hairdresser. I just couldn't do curls again. But another one I had was with one of our members who is Hispanic. And see, I'm not as aware as I should be. I'm not as aware as I should be that brown is just as difficult as black in this nation. For many, it's a marginalized place, and he is Hispanic. And he came to tell me how much this center means to him, and how he was able, even though he was talking to his sister and brother, who were both fearful and angry because of George Floyd's murder. Fearful and angry for themselves. They were outraged, but they were also afraid for their lives. And he said, I'm not the least bit afraid or angry because I know how to use the principle of science of mind. He actually came to the center. We social distance. It's the first time I've counseled since the shelter-in-place order. But it was perfect because his main reason for coming was to bring a check to the center. My heart cracked open. Here he is. He could have gone the way of his family, but instead, he's going the way of love. He's going the way of love. He's saying, no, I am not that. Regardless of the color of my skin, regardless of my culture, regardless of the languages I speak, I am here in America. And he is from San Salvador. I am here in America, the very best place possible in the world to be, because I am free. And I am able to create and bring prosperity to myself and to others. I am free. So, God is speaking through each one of us. When we're listening to our hearts, we have to put down those hammers. We have to put down those swords. The quote from Ernest today is, you can't get into heaven with a sword. Ernest Holmes. You can't get into heaven with a sword. Put them down. Put down those weapons. Bring as much compassion and love as you can, first to yourself. Because whatever's going on in you, it's what's going on. If you're feeling afraid, just acknowledge it. Right now, I'm afraid. Last night was the first time I've locked my garage since I can remember. But after watching all those, all the scenes of the looters, that something in me rose up, and it wasn't love, it was fear. And I'm here to tell you that that's what I've spent the morning doing, is getting clear about who I am, so I can be clear about who you are. I know who you are. I know who you are, and I know each of us has the ability to change our minds, to stay safe in the awareness of our love for ourselves, for each other, for our center, and to move forward. In no way at all is this about stopping speaking. The only way we will ever grow, the only way we will ever let go of our fears is by communicating with one another, by talking, by understanding each other's cultures, points of view, etc. And I know that it's difficult. But when you can, have a conversation with someone who didn't grow up like you did, with someone from a different culture, with someone who has had a different experience of COVID-19 than you've had. Have a conversation with someone, because you and I, you and they, are one. That's our brother, that's our sister. We are one. These hands that are God's hands can be used, as Ernest says in the textbook, electricity isn't right or wrong, good or bad. You can use it to cook a meal, or you can use it to electrocute yourself. It's time for us to decide who we are and to be that first to us and then to the others in our world. Thank you so much for showing up today. I can hardly wait to see you. You are the ones who are making the difference. And so it is. Now I'm going to pray, and Diane's going to accompany. So just take a couple of breaths. And I remind myself that the love that God is greater than anything I've ever imagined. That this overarching goodness is everywhere present. It is the thing itself. It's everywhere. It is surrounding and indwelling this planet and each and every person on it. And what I speak this word for is the contagion of love and peace that love is catching. We catch love from one another through random acts of kindness, through smiles, through kindness. We catch love by speaking out when we see something that doesn't sit with us. But I know, I'm going to continue my prayer over here. I've seen some ministers do this. I've never done it before. So I'm letting my feet be on the ground. So I'm grounded. And what I'm knowing is in this groundedness, there is nothing shaky. There is only life itself. And life is moving through me as it is through each one. I accept for myself greater prosperity than ever before. I accept for myself greater aliveness, health, vitality, energy, youthfulness, vigor. I accept it because it's how God is moving through me. I accept for myself more kindness, more wisdom, more life than ever before. I accept for myself the goodness that is the synonym of God, the goodness that it overarches eternity. I accept for myself and this entire planet peace on earth, goodwill toward all men. I accept for myself health for everyone. I accept for myself justice for all, and with my heart filled with gratitude for knowing what I know, I simply release this word to the action of law. It is complete, and so it is. And now Wade Wooldridge and Kimberly Wooldridge are going to sing a beautiful song, another beautiful song.
there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life you knew. But there's no other way, and now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, a lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Love is the key we must turn. Truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen?
Wow. Wow. What a wonderful song. What a wonderful idea. That's really a great time for us to practice circulating our good. It's a wonderful time to remind ourselves that there's plenty. Reading David Ault's guides this week, he quoted Rumi, and he said, the universe is rigged in your favor. Remember that. The universe is rigged in your favor in your finances. The universe is rigged in your favor in your relationships. The universe is rigged in your favor in your health. The universe is rigged in our favor in our government. What a wonderful affirmation to circulate within ourselves as we're going about our week this week. If you're writing a check, send it to the center. We'll be so happy to receive it. If you are paying by PayPal, go to our website and go to the button there. However you give, it will be gratefully received. And if you're not giving money, give love, give kindness, give truth. We are here to make a difference and to take a stand for love. I'm so grateful for each of you. We're going to close with our peace song. Right after service, our Coffee and Connections will be on Zoom. So join and see us all. So at least say hello. And you did get your survey. So check your email. If you didn't get it, you'll have another opportunity on Monday. It'll be sent again. And thank you for filling it in mindfully. I'll let you know what the results are next week. The board still has to discuss it before we make decisions. So let's all join together and sing the peace song. It has begun with each one of us. It's good and very good, and so it is.
Finish.